This is Michael. ASMR. I got a request the other day to do a trigger word video. I realise in all these videos I've never actually done a trigger word video. Maybe it almost seems too easy and they just say words. Just keep repeating the words. And then you then realise, of course, yes, it is simple. This is ASMR. It's meant to be pretty simple. It works pretty well when it is simple. So, you park your intellectual brain to the side and you enjoy the simplicity. But in that simplicity, I guess there is a kind of cleverness to recognise that simplicity. So, I congratulate the person who recommended that. You are simply wonderful. Anyway, okay. So, now I think with trigger words, you can pretty much make the trigger aspect of the words out of any word, really. So it's sort of how you say the word, right? Now, I have 3 words that I've thought of. Let's see which other words I might want to come up with. And as usual, the introduction is far too long. But then I guess there is always that subconscious aspect of wanting to make the video have some kind of length, and so rambling can work in that kind of way. It's a little more fun to just let yourself ramble at times as well, I find. I mean, if you skip the intro, I do not blame you whatsoever. Not that I would ever do that on other people's videos. But sometimes it can be nice to see a little bit of preamble as well, even though I'm sure some people click off in these moments. Sometimes liking the personality of the person who's going to provide, ASMR can be quite good. But then that is under the assumption that you're actually liking any of this, which is up for debate. Anyway, trigger words. Right, so yes, in line with just the way that you say things, I'm going to start strong. I'm going to start with the word that I think might be a very nice word. It's called delicious. And now you just say delicious. It's not enough. But if you try to say it artistically, nicely, importantly, repetitively, it almost loses its meaning as a word, becomes a sound, becomes an experience. Let's experience delicious, 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 unusual word, spelled delicious. One of the few words that sort of sounds, it sort of properly represents the word, right? It's delicious. That food is delicious. It's like that qualia thing where it's hard to describe the feeling or the emotion. You just experience it. But the word delicious, you almost feel it. You almost taste that food, that drink, that experience. Delicious, maybe more than most words, helps conjure up that qualia experience that we otherwise find hard to put into words. Delicious. 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 It's delicious. 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 Deliciously done. Alright. Another word then that I thought of doing. I know a lot of people do things like sk and that type of thing, but I'd rather just go with whatever word we can think of, really. Crinkle. Fairly innocuous sounding, but I think it works quite well with the two k sounds. Crinkle. 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 Crinkle, little star. Crinkle. 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 Crinkle fries. Crinkle. 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 How many times would you have to say a word before it just loses all meaning? Crinkle. 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 Why do our brains struggle with things when we over-repeat them? That's a strange one. Crinkle. 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 It's almost as if we forget what the word is supposed to represent. It just becomes a sound in and of itself. Crinkle. 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 about the third one I thought of doing. Again, a slightly unusual word, slightly unusual choice. Splendid. Splendid. Analyse that word. Splendid. It sort of starts fairly soft with the S, and then it goes to slightly, not tougher, but it's harsher sounding with the P, but not very much, because then it's softened with the L. Spla, 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 and then it's sort of given a bit of oomph with the N. Splen, spl, N, spl, N, spl, N, and then a couple of D's just come out just for the hell of it, and they give you a strong finish with the did. Splendid, 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 splendid. It's about 3 or 4 different words in one word. Unusual. Splendid, 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 splendont. Splendid, splendid, splendus. Splendid, 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 splendid. Did splen, splendid, 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 splendid. Just 3 words, but for now, splendid, 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 delicious, crinkle, 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 splendid, splendid.